Hello, Pioneers. Today is Wednesday, November 12th. My name is Maddie Patton.
And my name is Kylie Bradshaw. Welcome back to the press.
Begin with an update on the ongoing government shutdown, now entering its 7th week, making it the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
The shutdown began after Congress failed to pass government funding on October 1st. Because of the stalled negotiations, nearly 1.4 million federal workers remain furloughed or working without pay. This has caused growing strain across the country, from flight delays due to short-staffed air traffic control to the Department of Agriculture announcing it will reduce SNAP food assistance benefits nationwide. Here's Ayana with more information. Ayana.
Late Monday night, the Senate took a key step toward reopening the government. In a 60-40 vote, 8 Senate Democratic centrists crossed party lines to support a temporary funding bill negotiated with Senate Republican leadership and the White House. The agreement includes a future vote on expanding healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. However, the bill must now go back to the House, which will need to return from recess to vote. Even with this progress, a single senator could delay final passage under Senate rules, which means the shutdown could continue if negotiations stall again. That's all from me. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Hannah. Now to major political news. President Donald Trump has issued sweeping pardons to several high-profile allies involved in the effort to challenge the 2020 presidential election results. According to U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin, those pardoned include Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, Boris Epshteyn, and more than 70 additional individuals tied to attempts to persuade states to submit alternate electors.
The proclamation states, "The pardons are meant to, quote, end a grave national injustice following the 2020 election and begin a process of reconciliation," end quote. The pardon does not apply to Trump himself, and several legal analysts say the move may influence ongoing trials in Georgia and Arizona, though the long-term legal effect remains unclear. This story continues to develop. Meanwhile, questions are rising inside the National Guard regarding deployments ordered in several major U.S. cities. President Trump has directed Guard units to cities including Los Angeles, Chicago, Portland, and Washington, D.C., citing the need to address violent crime and protect federal facilities. However, an encrypted group chat of Ohio National Guard members recently revealed concerns about these deployments. Some guardsmen say the missions feel politically motivated and, quote, outside the scope of normal duty, end quote.
One Guard member told NPR, quote, "I signed up to help communities, not to patrol American streets," end quote. Over 100 Guard and active duty military members nationwide have reportedly reached out to veteran support groups seeking guidance on objecting to deployments. In Virginia, Democrats secured control of the state legislature, limiting Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin's ability to pass major policy changes. The results are expected to shift state priorities toward education funding and healthcare access in the upcoming session. And in New Jersey, Democratic Governor Phil Murphy won re-election, becoming the first Democrat in the state to do so in over 40 years. Murphy's campaign focused on cost of living concerns and continued economic recovery efforts.
Now, I give a deeper insight into the recent mayoral election that happened in New York City and the policies mayoral-elect Zohran Mamdani campaigned on. Hi, Pioneers. Today we're going to be looking into New York City's mayoral election and how new-elect Zohran Mamdani's policies are going to affect the city. New York City is entering a new political chapter. Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old progressive and self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist from Queens, has been elected mayor, becoming the city's first Muslim and first South Asian leader. Mamdani ran on a platform centered on affordability, tackling soaring rents, improving public transit, and making the city more livable for working-class New Yorkers. He defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who continued as an independent after losing the Democratic primary, and Republican Curtis Sliwa, who campaigned heavily on public safety.
So mayoral-elect Mamdani is interesting because a lot of things he's talking about are going to require federalism. So the state of New York and even the federal government to carry through on some of his promises. And that'll probably be where those end very quickly. He brings with him some interesting things. For example, he took the bus to the debates. And so that was something that the media picked up on and made him a little bit more interesting.
A key factor in Mondami's victory was the surge of energy from younger voters, especially renters, students, and first-time voters, who rallied behind his promises on housing and transit access. This new generation of voters helped drive momentum for a more progressive vision of the city.
At the local level, things like free buses, subsidized child care, those things he'll be able to control. It's going to be interesting to watch him, have to work with the governor of New York and certainly the president of the United States on some of these things he wants to do.
That's all for me. Now, back to the desk. That's all for today, Pioneers. Thank you for staying informed during a busy National News Week. For the press, I'm Maddie Patton.
And I'm Kylie Bradshaw. Have a great rest of your week.